What's up, Fishroom fanatics? So I'm down in the Fishroom again today, and I just it's the next day, and I'm trying to avoid doing a video the same day. I'd like to have at least a day to work on it, but with everything being kind of pressed over the weekend and being a holiday weekend and everything going on that we had going on, it was kind of last minute. We got everything moved down here, and we spent a lot of time down here last night, and I wanted to kind of show you what was going on. So you've seen that the tanks got moved, the one shrimp tank got moved downstairs, and they all looked really, really well, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It can take between a day to sometimes 2 or maybe 3 days, but to really know what's going to happen with them. And as you can see, they're all kind of bunched around the food eating, fed them. They're all doing pretty well. Let's go over here. Our mess. 40 still cycling, but this was the main one that came downstairs. As you can see, there's a lot less snails, but there are still snails in here. The shrimp are still doing good in this one as well, which is always good to see. And again, I know that I'm moving around kind of fast and it's hard to see, but even though you can't see them, there's between probably 50 to 60, if not more, shrimp in each of these 4 tanks now. We had over 300, so I'm willing to bet that there's probably like 70 in some of them and closer to 75 in some of the other ones. But I mean, it was a task, to say the least, to get this downstairs. But once we did, it all worked out for the better. Now this one and the other one, they're a little bit smaller. This is kind of like the grow up tank, and we'll kind of be able to see what's going on here. A lot of the bigger ones, they have a lot more color, are in the other tank, the first tank over here. But yeah, so finally did a water change on this, and we leave, again, I've mentioned this before, but in case you're new and it's your first time watching, we do leave some of the food on the bottom for fry. And there's quite a few fry. So we make sure to leave some food on the bottom. And some of what you're seeing also is the black sand that came from the cherry tank, because all those snails that were in that cherry tank came in here. And the puffers got nice and fat. They had a good meal last night. They loved it. And there's still a ton of snails in here. You can't see them all out in the open, but I mean, you can see some snail shells. These guys ate like kings last night, kings and queens. So it was really nice. But the water's been changed in it. It's probably, I did like a 65% water change in here because it really needed it. Sucked out all the stuff that I wanted to suck out, kind of went through. Again, left a lot of food in the Java moss to kind of let them graze off of, because there's probably 10 fry in there now. And from the looks of it, we got a couple other ones that are pregnant, but we'll see how that turns out, because these 2 right here are both pregnant, and she's getting boxed, so she might be due soon. That is one of the juveniles that we raised from fry. So she's been raised from a fry, which was this size, and now she's full grown, pregnant, and she's ready to have her own babies. So that's really cool. And I didn't do a full complete fish room tour. I just focused on shrimp, but I'm gonna lay everything out now. We were gonna get some black neons, decided against it because we didn't really know where to put them. This tank is still in the process of cycling. We do have gravel we're gonna put in here, and it is a hang-on back filter. And the heater will eventually be pulled out, because this is going to be the white cloud haven. They'll be able to breed in here and mate in here and all that stuff. And actually, white clouds tend to not eat their fry, which is really, really cool. So as long as we put some good chunks of Java moss and Naja grass and maybe some water wisteria and things like that, where there's enough coverage, they should be able to drop eggs, because they're egg scatterers, and then the fry should be able to hatch and be raised out from that. So I did go ahead and go into the angel tank, and I cleaned it up quite a bit, but at the same time, I still left some there. As you can see, the slate's back in, I cleaned it off. The heater that we had wasn't powerful enough to heat the tank, so that was a bit of a bummer. Didn't get any fry out of it, but we will try again. If they're due to spawn probably the next probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, maybe a week since I took that out, but we'll see how that plays out. You can see Koi's looking beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Super pregnant female. There's another super pregnant female. These guys are absolutely gorgeous. The coloring on them is beautiful. Ever since we've gotten these things, I've been absolutely in love with them. I can come down here and just watch these guys for hours because they really are just absolutely gorgeous. They're like the Dalmatians of fish. So that's really cool. We can see in here we got the fry going. These guys are not the ones that are the biggest. These are the second batch we put in, not the first. The first batch is way back there. And this monster's, let me zoom in here and see if I can get it. He's like huge already. You can see some of the Molly fry too, which makes it a little bit harder to see him, but he's gigantic. Compared, just in relative terms of fry, he's gotten really, really big already. And there's another one in there that size as well. So they're doing really well. We just did water changes on a majority of the tanks in here. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see. I mean, it really, really is. It won't be too much longer before the first batch that we had, which was only 2 surviving fry, will come out and end up going into the parent's tank. Probably another week or so before they make it. So, I mean, you can see the difference. Let's see if he turns sideways. There you go. Harder to see because he's further back, but he's like double the size of this one, double the size of this one, probably triple the size of this one. The other fry that we have in here, the babies, they tend to hang out in the very, very back, and you can see it's kind of dirty on the inside from all the snails, but there's all our Malaysians come out. You can see a lot of the littler guys. The last batch we had, last 2 batches, one was 30 something and 41, and then we had an additional like 6 or 7 more, which are all still alive, well, and kicking. They're in the back. They like to hang out by that filter with the baby Malaysians, which is fine. So they're all doing really, really well. At some point, we are going to separate these guys out into 1, if not 2 different tanks, along with the fry tanks still, simply because 20s can get crowded fast. So I figured we'll probably have 10, maybe 12 total swords in here, and then we'll have that same number in the other couple of tanks. And then once the fry are born, they'll go in here, and we've been contemplating using the empty 55 that we currently have for a grow out tank. So once we get enough fry, we can throw them in there. They'll definitely be able to handle the 55 much better than this, and we can physically grow them out and see how they're doing. And that's what we're gonna probably sell out of, is the grow out tank. So we'll probably have between 300 to 400 of these guys in the next 6 months, which is kind of the goal. We'll have more or less 36 permanents, and we'll always pick out the best, or what we feel are the best out of the group, and the rest we will bring off to like the swaps and the auctions. And again, if you guys are interested in picking any of these up, that's perfectly fine. Just let us know. I know that a lot of people find these to be absolutely gorgeous, and they are a little bit harder to find in certain areas. So again, if you don't have the ability to get them in your area, you know, feel free to reach out. I'm sure we can work something out and take care of it for you. If not us, somebody else that is on the channel, I'm sure will be able to as well. So cherry barbs are doing really, really, really well. There's the females. Oh, there's 2 females, or 1 female. That's a snow white Daniel. There's another female over there. We ended up with getting 3 females. The other female's buried back over here right now, behind the, there she is. So you can see they're all pretty thick, with the exception of that one. She's starting to thicken out. They're ready to drop eggs, which is great. This tank is cycled. All we gotta do is throw a heater in there, which I'm gonna probably work on today. Once the heater's thrown in there, we have an aquarium divider. What you do is you put 1 male, 1 female on one side, 1 male, 1 female on the other side, and you just let them sit for a little bit, a couple days, feed them like normal, and then play with the temperature a little bit. And once that's all done, you essentially pull the divider out. The males and the females will bounce around the tank and they'll start to drop their eggs. Give them a couple days to drop their eggs. Once they do, you pull the parents all back out and you hope for the best. That's all you can do. Which makes them a little more difficult to breed because they don't always lay eggs every time, but they can lay up to 300 eggs per female. So there's a potential of getting 600 eggs. Reality is you're probably going to be lucky if you get 100 out of them to really survive. So cherry barbs are on our list to do, but they'll go on this little 16 wide screen down here. And that's actually going to be happening sooner rather than later. So yeah, I mean, this is a true update, and I know I've done one recently, but with everything going on, all the changes going on, things moving forward, this is where we're at now. As you can see on the very bottom, we have gravel for the tanks that we need to. We're picking up more sand because, as I've said before, the only thing you're getting is the fish going in here love sand, so this is going to get sand substrate. We're going to make sure that we keep enough in this one, as well as the tent over there, I believe, is not getting any, but we can re-up this one, and we're going to add sand to, I want to say there was one more, but I could be wrong. Actually, no, I'm not wrong. We're going to be adding sand to probably one of these three. This one, or this one. As you can see, the weights are still on the wood to kind of waterlog it, make sure it sinks, because they were huge chunks. So sand in the 40 breeder, sand in one of the 20 longs, which will be for shrimp. All the 20 longs that we have are for shrimp. That's what's going in there. We've got 11 20 long tanks. All 11 tanks will be used for shrimp. Currently there's 4 set up for cherries. We have a 10-gallon over there that's for the Bloody Marys. And then we'll still have 7 left. We're gonna be using 3, maybe 4 of those for the shrimp that are coming within the next month. And then we're gonna leave the other 3 for another variety of shrimp as well. We'll have 3 different types. I don't know what those are, Jess does. She's got plans. She handles all the shrimp. So she's got plans that are floating in her head that she wants to do. And you can see there's some biofilm on here, which is a good indication that it's starting to cycle. You may or may not always see that. I know with ours, we usually do when we let them sit. I mean, especially when you got like driftwood in there, there's tannins that get released, and it releases a biofilm. But sidetrack, sorry, just a quick lesson on that. You can see, well, let me see here. This one needs a water change, that one needs a water change, that one needs a water change, that one needs a water change, and this one needs a water change, and this one, and this one, and that one. But we're not changing the water in them until we have fish to put in there. They are completely 100% cycled. The nitrate level is through the roof, which is perfectly fine. All we have to do is cycle the water out, put new water in, the nitrate level will drop tremendously, and we'll be good to go. So that's what we've done with every tank that we've had. It always works out, and it gives it a chance to actually populate as much beneficial bacteria as it needs. But you can already see that all Indian almond leaves are getting wild on. But anyways, again, sidetrack, sorry. So she knows what's going on. She's got a plan worked out in her head. I'm not entirely sure what that plan is. I do know what the next batch of shrimp she wants to get are. However, the one after that I am unaware, because she's got like 4 or 5 different ideas kicking around in her head, as always. So we'll see how that goes. 20, 55 again will be probably for the grow out. 20 again, 20, 20, 20. That one's already spoken for. So out of these 20s, at least 2 will be for the koi swordtails. So, yeah. That's pretty much about it for now. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, as always, drop in the box below, please. Any suggestions, you're more than welcome to leave them. We're always open to ideas. If you haven't already, please do us all a favor. Like, subscribe, share. Let's get these videos out to as many people as possible. Try to help grow the fish keeping hobby as much as we can. They say it can't be done with one person. I agree. It takes everybody. So let's all get out there and share as many of these videos as well as the other fish keeping hobby videos you see. Let's get some more people in the hobby. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, happy fish keeping.